Congratulations on winning Coach of the Year for the second time. Tell us about the season and the arc that brought about the team's success to gain you the individual recognition on top of obviously a very successful season for the club as a whole.
Yeah, well, before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to the other coaches in the league. Obviously they're the ones that vote, and I think we're really blessed to have so many exceptional coaches in the league, and to be voted by your peers to win an award like this for the second time is a great reward for effort. As far as our season, it was a history record-breaking season for our club and our team in the women's program, and hopefully my goal is to make it so when we do have positive seasons like that, it's not history-breaking anymore, it's what's expected from us. So yeah, the playing group in particular were really stung by what happened the previous season, and they were determined to come together early and roll up their sleeves and work really hard. And to be fair, they've been outstanding all year, and their level of consistency at training and within games has really got us to where we did this year.
Where did you see the biggest change in how you coached, be it pre-season recruiting, pre-season preparation, training sessions in season, or actual match day decisions? I mean, is there anywhere that you've benchmarked yourself and said totally different, or the same but just a bit better? How did you see those various factors of the coaching challenge?
I think I just had a bit of a better understanding of in the off season who was returning. So once we realised that we weren't going to get much out of the previous season, we went about as a club quickly re-signing a lot of the players that we wanted to keep at the club, and then that meant that I had a really clear picture about who I needed to bring in, the type of player and the position as well in the off season, and then from there I think our squad was quite consistent and quite strong, and it meant that I could coach with a bit more tactical flexibility than I have in previous seasons. And we saw starting lineups change from week to week, and sometimes some players were included in squads and other times they weren't. So I think that was where the biggest change came. I just had a little bit more depth in the squad, and that allowed me to be tactically flexible with my coaching.
Which opposition coach caused you the most occasions of, I wasn't expecting that, or that's a surprise? Is that every coach in this league? Is it none of them? Or which coach sticks in your memory as the one that always keeps you guessing with how they do things on match day?
Well, I think he doesn't keep me guessing, but Jeff Hopkins is always difficult to coach against, and I haven't got a very good record against him. So, but just because of the way that he sets up his team, and just makes it really challenging, particularly to score against, and that was really a strength of ours this year. So he always gives me headaches and coaches his team exceptionally well. And then I think Anthony did a great job at Canberra this year. I think that team went through a couple of different evolutions and changed the way they played and set up from the beginning of the year to when we played them later on in the year. So he coached that team in a really flexible way that made it really challenging to come up against them as well.
In so many ways, this season is now a launching pad for Adelaide to remain a finalist, become a contender. Do you take a total mental break? Are you the sort of person that doesn't switch off from football and next season has started already? Tell us about how the off-season looks for you.
Yeah, next season has started already. We're halfway through sort of our exit interviews with players and staff, so they'll continue this week, and we'll get a good idea of who's staying and who's going. And I've been told by my wife that we need to take some time in January to have a bit of a holiday as a family, so I'll try and do that as well. But yeah, I don't think you can ever switch off from football. It's always bubbling away in the background because it's worldwide and it's constant, and that's the nature of the sport. So, and to be fair, that's what I love about the job as well. So we're already well underway for planning for next year, and yeah, I think if you look at where we came from and where we got to, it was probably just one step too far for us this year, but hopefully we've got that grounding in place, and we can bring back a number of the players that were successful for us this year, and that'll give us that launching pad, like you said, into the next season.
Just on coaching broadly, what do you think, what's the resource, what's the time, the thing that's missing that yourself but also maybe the league broadly, if it was top of your wish list, what would it be? Is it as simple as wages, talent, scouting, or are there other things day to day that if you could add them on your must-have or on a wish list, you'd add it because it would help how you do things?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and I've thought about this, and I've provided lots of feedback to both my club and the league about this. And I think the number one thing for both players and staff is 12-month contracts. If we can get to that point, then we can treat it more like a job. We can commit to players and staff a little bit more long-term, and we can start to build those commodities as assets as well, and have a bit of control over what we do with them whilst we've got them, but also helping them get to where they can possibly get to as well with their careers. So for me, that's the number one thing. If we can get to 12-month contracts across the league, then maybe we can introduce a women's cup competition as well, and just having more access to both staff and players over a longer period of time, I think will lift the professionalism of the league considerably.
Just one last one, and we might cut it out depending on if it's crossing the line. But when we spoke in pre-season, it felt like your job was on the line, and it felt like you needed the pressure to motivate something new and something different. Would you rather that not be there, or do you feel as though the jeopardy actually helped you get the best out of yourself?
No, I think there's always pressure because we're in a results-based competition. So that pressure is always going to be there regardless of whether you have a positive year or a negative year. So I welcome that. I don't think it added anything or takes anything away. I think it comes more down to the fact that we work really hard at what we do, the players, the coaches, all the staff involved, and there's a sense of pride that comes with doing your job well too, so and getting those results. So I think that's more of a motivating and driving factor, and probably what it did do for me was just allow me to approach this season with a sense of gratitude and gratefulness, because in most leagues around the world, to have a season like we had, and especially the way it finished with that 8-0 loss, I probably don't keep my job, right? So I was really grateful to the club that they could still see what the plan was and where we were headed, and that allowed me to approach the season with a great deal of gratitude, and it just made me want to work even harder for the playing group and for the club, because I'm really passionate about both of them.